Hey, what's up? My name is Jose Duncan Jr., and I would like to welcome you to the Unnatural Born Leader podcast. Hey, what's up? Welcome to episode 36 of the Unnatural Born Leader podcast. Thank you for everyone who's tuning in today. We are wrapping up the year. We are in December, and for all those who have survived and who has found a way to get through this pandemic and all the ever-changing adjustments, I am here to tell you congratulations and keep going. As you all know, as we all experience, there's been a lot of room for self-reflection. There also has been a lot of room for self-awareness, paying attention to our habits, to the way we're treating our body, the way we're treating our minds, paying more attention to how we're leading our lives and the relationships we have with people. So, as an optimist, I believe every negative situation or every situation that perceived to be negative definitely has some positive things we can learn from it. And I know deep down we don't want to experience all the negativity and all the failure, but it exists, and you only hope to receive it in smaller dosages, but it does exist. And I'm proud of anyone who's able to make the adjustment, who has continued to bring others along with them. And on that note, I want to say that I'm excited that we are nearing the process of getting the book published and officially out. I'm receiving the third sample copy today, actually, and I can't wait to get that third sample copy. And if I'm okay with it and the people I'm working with are okay with it, then we are ready to get that published and finally put it out for order. So I'm super excited about that. It has been a process from the moment I thought about writing this book in late April until now, being able to really publish it, and it's feeling very surreal. So excited for that to come out. And any of you have been, looking forward to that or just been hearing me talk about it, I can't wait to talk about that on the podcast when it's actually out and go through what some of the chapters mean. So last time on the podcast, I talked about this idea of spending more time in silence. And what happens a lot when I record these episodes is that I reflect about them afterwards. And like I said before, I'm no exception to any rule. I'm no exception to anything we all struggle with. I'm like everyone else. I may do some things well, may do some things poorly, but I'm very much like a lot of people. So although I speak about spending more time in silence, doesn't mean I'm excellent at finding that silence during the day. Doesn't mean I'm excellent at creating that silence or finding that peace or being able to meditate and take care of my mind. I still struggle with these things. 2020 has been very traumatic for me and a lot of other people that I know, especially mentally. So when I speak about finding that time in silence, I realize that I must start being more deliberate and even more intentional about my silence and my peace of mind and protecting it with everything I got, right? And in that episode, we spoke a lot about meditation and some ways to find that silence, but I understand that it's a struggle. I understand there is a lot going on. There's a lot of information we're consuming from a day-to-day standpoint, and I understand it can be very difficult to find that silence, but I continue to urge you to look for it, seek time for it. It doesn't need to be a boatload of time. It just needs to be maybe 10 to 30 minutes a day. You find some silence just to be with your thoughts. And just however you can generate that, I support that. And I got some feedback from that episode from a few people who follow the podcast. And I think hearing from them really helped me understand that this is definitely an ongoing process, trying to find that peace of mind with so much information available to us today. So today I want to talk about something that's very important. And it can be taken out of context with different people, but I want to bring it up because I feel it's something that I should talk about as someone who really focuses on self-awareness and leadership. And I think this is an important topic to discuss here on the podcast. So the thing I want to discuss today is about relationships. Not particularly romantic relationships, those also, but just relationships with people, whether they are in our inner circle or they just people we've come in contact with because we've been in different places, we've done different things, we've been in different communities, and we was able to create some connections. And in those relationships, I want to focus on the idea of rooting for your friends, genuinely wanting people to win. And I think that's important in today's age because although we all have seen people be successful, people win, we also know it takes a shit ton of hard work and effort and application and dedication and overcoming failure to get to that point. And if you understand that and you see someone winning, you must understand that they went through all those things. And if you know the person personally and you see them doing well, or they share that they're doing well, or something good happens in their life, or they may be able to hit a certain milestone, you don't always have to like that person, but you have to respect what they did. You have to respect the time they put in because you understand that in order to get to that winning point, that they overcame some failure, they overcame some losses, they dedicated their time, they made some sacrifices. And it's only right to respect that and to root for them to win. So when I say I genuinely want people to do well, it's because I genuinely want to see people win. But I also understand that not everyone's willing to go through that failure. Not everyone's seeking those losses. Not everyone's comfortable with losing. And I never want you to be, but it comes with a certain level of acceptance that you're going to take some minor losses. You know, you don't want to take major losses, but you're going to take a few minor losses, and that's what's going to propel you to win. And every time I think about this, I don't really like the idea of failing and losing, but time and time again, life reminds me this is the process. So the best you can do is try to minimize the impact of those losses and maximize the impact of those wins. So in this idea of rooting for our friends and building strong relationships with our friends and people we come in contact with, I understand it could be very difficult. I understand that because I was raised in an athletic world. I was raised as a football player particularly. And I realized that although we're a team of, 60 to 100 guys, there is very much a competition going on every day. And everything we did to better ourselves, improve our game, study the game, take care of our bodies, show up to practice, all those things we did was for a competitive advantage. When we work hard, go through the gauntlet, blood, sweat, and tears, it was so we can gain a competitive advantage over our opponents. But before we were able to gain a competitive advantage over our opponents, we must gain a competitive advantage over the people that we're directly competing with. And as an athlete, those are your teammates. And a lot of people believe that you can't compete with people and also be, you can't compete with people and also be on the same team as them. You can't compete with people and also be supportive of them. You can. Simon Sinek talks about this idea of worthy rivals and people that you're competing with, but you also respect at a high level because you know that their hard work and their perseverance and their attitude is very much matching your own. So you can't really hate on them for it, but you can definitely compete with them. And if that brings out the best in you, trust me, I know that it brings out the best in them. So this idea of gaining a competitive advantage is all we ever knew as athletes. And it's not a negative thing, right? If anyone who's ever gained any type of win or type of success tangibly, you know that you had to compete against other people. There's this idea of being a big fish in a small pond. That's all right. There's definitely room for that. But the more and more you expand your community, expand your circle, you realize you will have to be a big fish in a big pond with a bunch of other big fishes. And that idea will only make you better, right? And that's how you see in the football world, you have the, Alabamas of the world, you have the NFL, obviously, you have those top tier programs, and you wonder why they do well so often because they have a lot of guys playing at a high level, competing at a high level, and it's only making each other better. So while they're competing at a high level against each other every day in practice, they're also going out there as a team to win. And if one wins, they all win. But it's always going to be a competition, and that's okay. I know a lot of people shy away from competition or think competition is a negative thing, but you can root for your friends and also compete with them at the same time. There's room for that. What there's not room for is you trying to bring them down so you can get ahead. No, you want to compete with people when they're at their best. That's the only time you're going to test where you're at in your process. And I think that's important when we're building that relationship with people that we're low-key or high-key competing with. That is a relationship. Although it may not be the typical relationship, that's a competitive relationship. And the whole point is that iron is going to sharpen iron and both parties are going to get better, right? So that brings me to my next point of respect. As a football player growing up, I didn't always felt like people knew my energy. I was kind of misunderstood sometimes. I'm a weird, complicated individual at times. I can be goofy here, and then I can be serious, and I can be say some wild, outrageous stuff, and then I can say some real serious stuff that's food for thought. I can just be bouncy, with thoughts and my actions sometimes growing up. So it was definitely complicated to always understand me or like me. But what I felt was very important that I get from my teammates was respect. Not only they respect my hard work on and off the field, but they respected my character and the kind of person I perceived myself to be, and the kind of way I carried myself day to day. And that is important when we are building these relationships with people, whether it's financial relationships, social relationships, work-wise, whatever creative relationship you build with people, you want to be able to respect the person. It takes time to learn personality and learn some of those things. So you may not always like that person right away, but if you spend more time with them, connect with them, have some serious conversations, I hope that you're able to respect that person. Because at the least, respecting that person will create a relationship where you both are trying to move forward, trying to go after that win together. And in due time, as the respect grows and as you work together and as you learn each other's character, you may end up liking that person. And you may realize that the whole time you were competing with this person, you guys had a lot in common. And that person is actually a true worthy rival. So the point I'm making is that you can want your friends to win, but you have to respect the person who's winning, right? You have to respect the person who's working hard, right? If your friend's working hard or someone you know is working hard and you consider them a rival, respect them first. If they have earned that respect, respect them. And then continue to make yourself better, go after your goals, apply your knowledge, start hustling harder. Because not only are you competing with that person, but you have a high level of respect of their character and how they carry themselves. And that's an energy you might want to be around a lot more. When you're building relationships with people who push you directly or indirectly to go for the win, to go forward, you only are improving yourself in that process. There's nothing negative about being around people who hustle and who have high character individuals. It may bring out some insecurities early on about yourself, but it takes some self-awareness to realize those are insecurities, and that's not something that you want to reflect on the people that's in your inner circle, right? So Understand that you may not always like the person, but you have to respect them because your paths may cross again another time in life, and the relationship you build with them may be essential for a different point in your life that you may need that person in. So I hope you guys understand that point of just keeping a respectful relationship of each other's character, right? The biggest lesson I learned is support and empower as a leader. I talk a lot about leadership. I study a lot about leadership. I listen to other leaders that I respect. And while it's not a terrible thing to tell people what to do, you want to be in a position where you empower people to do what they already want to do. And I think that's essential when building a relationship with people around you as a leader. And if you feel like you have a leadership qualities and you believe that you are a leader, it's important that you empower people around you and being able to bring out the best in them, right? I talked about it on a recent podcast with a friend of mine that leadership is a servant position. It's a back seat like anything else. It's not a front seat. While you are the face of something, it's still a back seat. It's a servant seat. So when you're a leader, it's important that you are able to identify the people around you, identify their strengths, maybe possible weaknesses, observe critically, be a high-level observer, and being able to empower that person or empower those people to be at their best. Because what you want for them may not always work out for them, but what they want for themselves is important that you bring out the best in that. And I wanted to add that little addition as a leader, and it comes with a lot of respect of those people's character to be able to empower them to win, right? And my third and final point is that if you consider yourself a leader or you're building up leadership qualities with me in this podcast journey, it's important that you build relationships. Relationships are everything as a leader. There's no person I've ran across in my life, work with, no manager, no coach, no GM, none of those things. No player who held a leadership position who didn't value having a good relationship with people on their team. We all know relationships are important. Relationships can be the greatest asset in life, right? Having a strong relationship with someone can work out great financially later on, right? And leaders must understand that in order to lead effectively, which I talk about in the book as well, we must build relationships where we're communicating and we are respectful of each other's character, going back to that point. And I learned this as a trainer working with clients and searching for my self-awareness, searching for answers to some of the things that was in my mind. I learned that the absolute best way to get what you want in life, based on what I know now, I'm definitely going to continue to learn, but the best way to get what you want in life is to provide people what they want or what they need, right? Although it creates a level of dependability, which is not a terrible thing, but you don't want to be overly dependent on something. It's very much you solving a problem for that person. And as a leader, if you create a relationship with someone that you are a problem solver, they will always respect what you bring, regardless of if you're doing well or not, or you have a moment where you're not leading effectively. They will always respect what you bring to the table because they identify you as a problem solver and someone who's really good at solving problems. And that's what leaders do. So providing people with what they want and treating them how they want to be treated as a leader is essential. And that comes with relationship building. And relationship building obviously takes time and effort. We can't rush the relationships. We can't rush the character building process. So I encourage you guys to continue to root for your friends, but also build relationships that are healthy with your friends, regardless if you're competing with them or you want to be like them, or you feel like they're doing better than you, build a relationship with that person. Or if you're not ready to build that relationship, at least have a respectful relationship with yourself, that you're able to look at them and respect with them, and to just admire their work and their character, right? So just to wrap it all up, I know this is a lot of verbiage and going through this, but rooting for your friends and building strong relationships takes three essential things. You must be able to compete in a healthy way with your peers and your friends. Competition is good. Don't let everyone damage the word competition. We don't want to damage and treat competition as if it's this negative thing and we shouldn't compete with each other. There's a healthy way to do it, and that comes with some exploration and also dealing with our own insecurities, right? So competitive advantage, that's important. Being able to compete in a healthy way with your peers. Number two, respect. It goes hand in hand with competition. Just respecting your peers, respecting your friends, respecting those you're competing with, and respecting the relationships that you build with people. Respect will take you a lot farther than being liked. I promise you. If people respect you, that's your brand right there. If people respect you long term, you can always provide value for those people, for that person, because they respect you. So that's a big point, right? Don't forget that. Competition, respect. And the last point is relationships matter, right? So if you're competing with a person and you respect that person, build a relationship with them. And if it's not time to build that relationship with them, build a better relationship with yourself, that in due time, that relationship with them is a natural occurrence, right? So leaders must build relationships. And if you don't feel like you're a leader today, that's okay. But be able to build relationships with people right now will make you a better leader, right? And it's very difficult for some of us who are maybe a little more awkward or introverted more, right? It can be difficult to outright build relationships, but there's a way, because we all struggle with the same issues. We all are trying to figure it out. So don't think that you can't build a relationship with someone who's a huge extrovert because you're an introvert. There's definitely something there that can bring you guys together. So relationships matter. And the best way to do that is to provide people with what they want and treat them how they want to be treated. And that's just pretty much what I want to talk about today, as far as rooting for your friends and building those relationships, because I genuinely want to see people win. And I thought it was something that I talk about today. Yeah, that was a lot. Just thinking about it, I hope I covered some major points that I hope you guys got some value out of. And for all my entrepreneurs out there and hustlers out there, I'm not personally an entrepreneur myself, but I do encourage people to continue to build and continue to work hard and continue to build relationships. Build a better relationship with yourself, and you will see a lot of great things happening. And when you see people win, I know we see it on Instagram and all the social media. When you see someone winning or they're sharing something positive in their life, root for them. Support them. You don't have to outright do it all, always comment or always tell them, hey, I'm rooting for you. But deep down, you must root for them. Have that energy, manifest that energy. And if you do that enough and root for people to win enough, you'll find that your life will come with abundance, because you genuinely, deep down in your heart, you want people to win. And that cannot be denied. So I appreciate you guys tuning into another episode of the Unnatural Born Leader podcast. I hope you guys got some value out of it. And I can't wait to get my book into you guys' hands. I'm excited. I'm humble. I feel very humble about it. New beginnings, 2021. We only hope that we are able to overcome this trauma. And I hope everyone is able to listen to these episodes, go back and find an episode that you feel like may speak towards what you're going through right now, and listen to it. And if you get any value out of it, I hope that you leave a review down below. leave me a comment. I read all of them. Just anything is important for me to continue to try to bring some value to you guys. So never forget that positivity is contagious and attitude is truly everything. And I will never stop saying that. And I hope it resonates with you guys a little bit more now. All right. So happy holidays, Merry Christmas. And I hope you guys enjoy your holidays, enjoy your family, and talk to you guys next time.